In this video, I will show you a Linux OS that is meant to be run primarily from a USB drive. It's called Slax, and it's a minimalistic Linux OS that we don't even need to install, we just copy and paste it. It has some very interesting features like persistence, which it is doing in its own unique way. So in this video, we will try out Slax and also take a look at its unique features. But before we start, welcome to the channel. Here you can find topics about Linux, Docker, game dev, or software development in general, or short, agile dev art. If you like that kind of content, then give a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified when I release new videos. All the necessary links from this video are down in the description, and also down there are the timestamps, so you can skip any part of this video. Slax is not the only Linux OS that we can run from a USB drive. In previous videos I installed many Linux distributions on a USB drive, like Ubuntu, Manjaro, Linux Mint, Kali Linux, Pop! OS, and DevOS, and the list goes on, and I probably also covered your favorite distro. So if you're interested, for instance, how to install full ZorinOS on a persistent USB drive, then you can check out the link to the video up there or down in the description. I am here on the official Slax website, the link is down in the description, and let's move this away. And the website looks actually really nice for a not so common Linux OS. So let's see how we can get this one. You have two variants that you can choose from, Slax based on Debian and Slax based on Slackware. Not many know about Slackware, but this is one of the oldest Linux distributions that is still maintained. Debian and Debian-based distributions are more common these days, so for this video I will go with Slax based on Debian. Let's go with 64 bits. Now it gives you an option. If you want, then you can buy one of those with Slax OS already pre-installed. In this video we will try to do it ourselves. Then just enter your email address here and click on the send download link. And it also says, don't worry, you can disable any further mailings easily. So this one will send you an email with the download link, the link to the ISO. I already got the email and I also downloaded the ISO. Here it is. Now back to the website, and let's see what we need to do now. Start Slax. Here you have the installation instructions. We want to install it on a USB flash drive. So basically what we need to do, plug in the USB drive. I will do it as well. Here it is. Then we need to format it. For the file system, we will take something really unusual, NTFS. This is my first time installing Linux on NTFS. Crazy times. And for the name, I will call it Slax. And start. Now everything will be erased from the USB drive, so if you have anything important on there, make a backup first. I don't have anything important on there, so I will just continue. Format complete. Okay, let's close that. Now back to the downloaded ISO, let's open it. And now just simply copy Slax to the USB drive. Perfect, here it is. We don't need the ISO anymore. And now on Windows we need to go to Slax, boot. In here you should find this bootins.bat file, and you should run this one inside the USB drive as an administrator. If you don't want to run random bat files from the internet, then I can absolutely understand you. That's why I showed you that you can buy a pre-installed USB drive if you don't trust this bat file. In my case, I think I can trust this one enough, so I will run it. Run as administrator, and that's it. Press any key. USB drive is now ready. I can close this one now. Now one important thing, it says that it is required that your disk uses MBR or master boot record instead of GPT or GUID partition table. This basically means that if you want to boot from this USB drive, you first need to enable legacy boot inside your BIOS. So this is important, UEFI only will not work. And that's basically it. Now before we actually boot up the USB drive, I want to talk about the Slax boot options, because I think this is something really unique and actually really cool. So while you're booting from the USB drive, you press escape and then you will get these three boot options. The first option will run Slax in a persistent mode, and that means that every package you install will be saved to the drive, and it will be there also after the reboot. All the changes that you do will be saved in a /slax/changes directory. And then on each reboot, all those changes will be merged together with the original operating system. This is how Slax keeps changes persistent. Of course, this is all happening in the background and you don't need to worry about this at all. And obviously, if you're old school and using CD or a DVD, then of course you will not get any persistent changes. Then we have a second option that runs Slax without any changes. So this is like running a live USB drive, a live environment. Everything you install or do will not be saved to the drive, and after the reboot everything will be resetted, all the changes are lost. Now we can configure what this fresh start actually is, and also define the packages and programs that we want at a fresh start. So this is like configuring your live environment, and we will see how that works. And then the third option is to run Slax only from your RAM. And that means that it will load the whole operating system inside your RAM. It's like the second option with the fresh start, but in this case you can also plug out the USB drive and then use the operating system only from your RAM. Of course, after the reboot everything will be resetted and all the changes will be lost. But while everything is in RAM, you have a high-speed operating system there. No hard drive latency. And that's really cool, in case you have enough RAM, of course. Now you can read more about how Slax works on their webpage. For instance, you always need to shut down Slax safely. That means using the shutdown menu with power off and reboot. Otherwise your changes may be lost also in the persistent mode. And for those really curious how all of this works, you have a very detailed explanation on the internals page. Here it is explained very visually what happens when you boot up and how the operating system is actually being initialized. Now without further ado, let's boot up Slax in a persistent mode. I will assume that you know how to boot from a USB drive. While the system is restarting, you press one of the function keys. Usually it's F11 or F12, it depends on your PC manufacturer. Then you will get the boot menu, and then inside the menu, select your USB drive and it should boot into it. And also don't forget to enable legacy boot inside your BIOS. I will do the same on my machine as well, and I'll see you after the reboot. This is Slax running from the USB drive in the persistent mode. Very minimalistic, with only few apps available. So let's see what we actually have here. Let's do an apt update and apt upgrade. Let's upgrade the system. And now let's install NeoFetch. Currently we are running the kernel 6.0 and we don't have an actual desktop environment, we just have a window manager called Fluxbox, which is a lightweight standalone window manager with some interesting features, like if you right click anywhere on the desktop, you will get a menu like this, and you can also customize this one. So if you are, for instance, wondering where your Wi-Fi settings are, because they are not down here, they are here inside the network manager, and that's how you access this one. Now since Fluxbox is very lightweight, we only consume about 538 megabytes, which is nothing in comparison to GNOME, which uses about 1.3 gigabytes. Now let's install one more thing. GIMP. Installed, let's run it. Here it is, and it seems it cannot find these icons here, but we can fix that. Preferences, icon theme, and let's go with legacy. Yeah, this one works. And OK. Now I will close GIMP. Since we are running Slax with persistence enabled, everything we have installed will also be there after the reboot. But if we choose to boot as a live USB drive with the second fresh boot option, then we will get the original Slax without our changes. If we want to include the installed packages inside the live environment, then we need to create modules out of those packages, and then include those modules. So let's say I want to create a snapshot of everything I have right now. In the terminal, just write save changes, and the name of the module, I will call it snapshot1. It needs to have the .sb extension, and enter. This is now creating the module. Here you can see the progress. Finished. Let's find the file. Here it is, snapshot1sb. Now to include this one inside the live environment, just copy it and go to /run, init ramfs, memory, data, Slax, and modules. Paste it here. And now this one will be included inside the live environment when we do a fresh start. This is not the only way how you can update the live environment. You can also create a new ISO based on this snapshot. Also really simple to do, just a command gen slax ISO. I will call the ISO my slax.iso, and I want to include my snapshot1.sb. This will create a new ISO image based on this snapshot, and then we can use this ISO, for instance, with a different USB drive as a base. In my case, this command will give me an error because I already included this one as a module, but if this would be a newly created module, then this command would create the ISO. Of course, there are also commands how to add just a single file to the module, not the whole snapshot. let's say for instance the background image, you can create a module out of that single file as well. Now previously I added this snapshot as a module, and now if I run Slax with the fresh start option, I should get all the installed applications inside the live environment. Let's try it out. I will do a reboot and I'll see you there. Here we are inside the Slax live environment with the fresh start option. Let's check out the applications. And here we can see that we have GIMP that we previously installed and included this one as a module inside the live environment. Let's run it. Perfect, here is GIMP, also with the icons. Now let's try NeoFetch, and NeoFetch is here as well. And that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, if you like my content, if you think it's helpful, then please give a like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. I really appreciate it. It makes the channel grow. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.